Back now with Harry's Barn. Harry's Barn staying strong at about 12 or 13 horses. Where that will shrink when, or has shrunk. Beach Boutique and Capistrano will be out. Johan, I don't know, is going to fit Harry well. For him, getting that cut cleaned up on his leg and putting him on the walker's fine, but he can be a little bit of hell on wheels sometimes getting him out to the track. And we had just castrated him, which I think I missed the window of castrating by about 5 months. That was my fault. But he is castrated now. So Johan, Harry has him right now. He's on the walker. He's going to go on the walker for a week, and then we'll start jogging him full time. And then we have Sunshine's Finest. I watched him train the other day. He looked really, really good. We'll probably train him for about 3 weeks, and then we'll re-x-ray that leg to see if there's much movement, much change in that line. So the problem with Sunshine's Finest was, and for those of you that watch this, you know, his crack was wide enough. It should have had a screw, but in a bad enough place they couldn't screw it. So they're hoping that it would calcify, that would fill in with calcium. It did not because of the width. They assume it will fill in with fibrous material, and he'll be okay. He's never taken a lame step, and he looked very strong the other day training. So we're cautiously optimistic when it comes to that Cannonbone and Sunshine's Finest. Anteros is training. I had Anteros the other day on Jason's list. I called Jason, said, "Can you give me an update on Anteros?" He goes, "Yeah, give me a second, I'll call Harry." Harry has Anteros, so he's training. I'll go with him this week. I want to go with him and another horse that is not on this list. I knew I missed. Oh, there he is. I knew I'd missed him though. Him and Easton Ivy. We'll talk about him in a minute. Who he is, where I got him, what he is. Gold Watch is training. This horse looks good. He hasn't hit the system yet. Bob had said. We broke him, trained him last year for a few months. He just one thing after another. A splint, a quarter crack. We castrated him. He was a mess. He gets sick. We just kicked him out for 4 months. Brought him back in. He's training down now. He had a curb we crowd 2 weeks ago. He's starting to go right now. Probably put him in the bike, and maybe him and Trafalgar in the bike this week. Might do that. Anyway, Excellent Nation starting to train also. He'll be ready to go, as I said, around my birthday, December 1st. We'll race him all throughout the winter. Really excited to see what's going to take place with this colt. I like him a lot. Cabernet, I schooled her the other day at 59, last half 58. We'll qualify her. I'd like to qualify her at 58 on Thursday. We'll see how that goes. Forged and Fire's jogging. He'll start training November 1st of this year. Casanova's Jewel is going to race next week. Now, Cass is still really bumpy, so I'm going to keep a very close eye on Casanova's Jewel. I really expected him and Final Answer to be back going by now and give me a pretty good read of what they're doing, as there is a sale in Ohio. If I'm wrong and they're just not going to make it and we just can't undo the knots in time, then so be it. He'll race next week. Trafalgar will train probably in the race bike this week. We'll see how she looks. Really Blue Chip's going to head to Florida with Doug Brown. Now, you might ask yourself, why is she still in the barn? I want to put a ton of fat on Really Blue Chip. She's always been frail and skinny. She's been healthy. Just eat and eat and eat, not put weight on. So we wormed her all year. Still couldn't put that weight on, and now I noticed she was about a week on a waiting list to get to the farm. I came in and she looked like she put about 50 pounds on. I said she can stay right there in that barn for another 2 weeks and just feed her, turn her out in our paddocks in the morning, let her run around, bring her in, feed her a big lunch, big supper. She's really starting to put the weight on, and that's what I want to see from Really Blue Chip. So she is on the farm still right now. She'll be going, I would suggest, maybe for a week to the farm to freshen up real good, and then she's going right to Florida with Doug Brown. The reason being for that, she's got sore feet. Her feet really bother her, this filly. Nothing chronic. I guess yes, chronic, in the sense that you have to manage them. Training her back on a frozen hard track might not be the best for her. So we're always trying to change and evolve, right? We know what the issues are, we know what the problems are, so let's combat them head on. We have the ability to do that. When it comes to Really Blue Chip, I think sending her to Florida, especially with Doug's smaller operation, really focus on this filly, I think she'll come back in best shape going that route. Now we get to Easton Ivy. These aren't in alphabetical order, I'm sorry. Easton Ivy, who is Easton Ivy? Well, Easton Ivy was a Swan for All colt bought as a yearling by 4 of our clients. No, they're still clients, I guess. No, Richie isn't. Anyway, doesn't matter. Brandon Bates bought a quarter of her with 3 of the buddies at the Swandre, the Giant Syndicate there. They've become friends, as they should. Brandon, Terry Earhart, Brian Hockman, and Richie. So those 4 guys bought this horse. It didn't turn out. They didn't work out. Brandon wanted to stop and turn him out, and they opted to sell him. So I bought him. So I own Easton Ivy right now. I'll probably sell the shares of him. Just wanted to make sure he was okay. I'm going to train him in the race bike Monday or Tuesday, get a feel for him, and then I'll know what I'm dealing with. I like what I saw so far from him. Obviously, he was well-bred, looked good, Swan for all. Nice horse, so we'll see how he does throughout the week. Beach Boutique and Capistrano are headed out to the field. Beach Boutique for a month, Capistrano for 2 months, and then Lincoln James. I can't say enough the trip this horse went the other night. My God, just class. You can't beat class. Horse was off 30 days, a couple little tiny slow miles. Pace is 51-2, last quarter 26-4, last half 53-4, closing in 5th. The horse just raced unbelievably, and Harry did a great job with him. We do have him in Harrisburg simply because he's 8, going on 9. He's a claimer at this point. He didn't do what we needed him to do, but that was no fault of his own. Maybe, maybe the expectations were a little high. I don't know. Maybe we should have sent him back to the States right after the Gold Cup last year. I don't know. But at the same time, he is a nice horse, and he certainly is a nice horse to drive. He's won some races for us, made back a little of the money. We're going to take a loss on him regardless what happens, but I think Harrisburg is where we'll close that chapter out on Lincoln James. But man, oh man, he is some kind of nice horse to drive. So that is Harry's barn. I'll be back in a minute with Kevin's barn. Kevin's got some horses coming in off the DL here very, very soon. Some of them arrive this weekend. Other ones arrive on Monday. I'll tell you all about that in just a minute.